Hey everybody, what's up? It's Voodoo here. Welcome to a weekly ritual, and today is actually Thursday, July 19th of 2013. I've actually just returned from bringing Brandon to the airport to end the trip. He's actually on his plane right now. He sent me a picture not too long ago of him sitting on the plane, and he's actually currently on his way home back to California as we speak. So it's kind of strange for me because right now I'm alone. I'm by myself for the first time in like 10 days. I mean, I've been with Brandon for since last Tuesday, and here it is already Thursday, so it's been like 9-10 days, and I'm by myself for the first time since then. So it's kind of a weird feeling. Kind of a sad feeling because it is over and I'm by myself now. But it was a really great trip. I'll be talking more about the trip later on in this video, so stay tuned for that. But I do want to talk about some other stuff that happened since my last weekly ritual, and not all of it is actually trip involved, if you can believe it. So let's start talking about that. So that week right before my trip, I said it was unlikely that I would be doing any more The Last of Us footage, and in fact, that was the case. So I did what I had promised before, and I said if I wasn't going to upload The Last of Us, I was going to upload something else, and I actually uploaded more of Return to Fallout 3. So if you were a fan of that series of videos, you like my Fallout 3 stuff, there's more Fallout 3 up, Return to Fallout 3, that I put out a couple of weeks ago. In case you missed it because of the YouTube 1 channel, be sure to go ahead and go check that out. So I did that. I actually uploaded a full flight on Flight Simulator 2004 as my second attempt at recording that game. I actually got it to work with the Elgato. Something screwed up with the commentary to where my voice would randomly fade out of the video at points. I have no idea why that happened. I couldn't explain to you why, so I apologize for it. Will I ever be doing another full flight like that? It's probably unlikely because it is very long, it's very involved. And it's just kind of a pain, so I probably won't do another one. The end of the flight was actually pretty funny. What happened to me when I finally landed, I did a flight from Las Vegas to Los Angeles, and what happens at the end is pretty hilarious. Now, it wasn't at the time, but it is now, so be sure to go check that out if you're interested. I've uploaded that. Then I did a video that has been getting a lot of exposure over the past couple of weeks. It's now gotten itself to be one of the most viewed videos ever on my channel, and still getting views exponentially, which is terrific. It's a video I made entitled Why I Unsubscribed from DSP Gaming, because I have now unsubscribed from DSP. And it was basically a video where I was very, very honest, giving my thoughts now on DSP, how I feel about him, how he treats people, what his attitude is like. You'll remember I made a Voodoo's Thoughts talking about him back in March, I believe it was, expressing some dissent with him and how things were going. Well, now I've completely unsubscribed from him, and I've gone from back in 2011 being a super fan of DSP, watching his stuff constantly, even buying his t-shirt, him inspiring me to do this channel that I still have to this day, really getting me more heavily involved in video games and the video game culture, all the stuff I owe to him. And I was a big fan of his back in 2011. I've gone from that till now. I really don't like the guy, and I've unsubscribed from him. I no longer support him, and I'm not going to be making any more excuses for his behavior or anything like that. I'm just done with it. So the video has been very popular. Last time I checked, I believe it had over 670 views already. It has reached 50 likes to only 3 dislikes, so obviously there's a lot of people who agree with me. Quite a number of comments. It's gotten comments from people such as EvilAJ 2010, of course the maker of the This Is How You Don't Play MGS 2 and 3. That's been a big center of controversy around the DSP community. He watched the video, commented on it. Another guy, Kane Bringing the Pain, I think is his name, who's also made videos talking about DSP. He watched it, commented on it. So it's gotten quite a lot of views. It's continuously still getting views, which is great, and it's becoming a very popular video on my channel, which I'm thankful for. I'm getting my message out there, and people agree with me, so there it is. So if you haven't seen that video yet, even though if you're watching this, you probably have seen it. Be sure to go check that video out. And the last thing I did, which unfortunately has gotten awful views, was another Voodoos Brew that I did actually the early morning of the trip out to Los Angeles, July 9th. I did it after midnight, so it was actually July 9th that I did, Voodoos Brew. And Brandon and I talked about, previewed the whole trip, and we talked about our friendship, kind of how we met and how our friendship had evolved over the past 2 years, all leading up to this trip that we just went on. And we discussed our plans and everything like that in full on the episode, and unfortunately it got like no views. It got like, I think, under 30, which for Voodoos Brew is just, it's bad, it's painful to me, because that's a series I take a lot of pride in, and it hurts me that it got no views, and I don't know why, but it did. So if you're interested in seeing that Voodoos Brew previewing the trip, although now it's a little outdated and irrelevant because the trip just ended, but if you're interested in that, maybe you didn't know it was out, again, because of YouTube One channel or for whatever reason, and you're interested in that, be sure to go check it out. At least if you're interested in how Brandon and I met and kind of our friendship and all that, that's still very relevant, despite the trip being over. So if you're interested in any of that content, go watch last Voodoos Brew, episode 14, I guess it is. So all that was done prior to the trip. So now let's get into it. The trip, the big thing, 2013, Brandon and I, how was it, and what are my final thoughts? Well, I'm going to be very honest with you guys. Right now I'm feeling, like I said earlier, a little sad, a little depressed, because it is over, because the trip was so good. I mean, it was really everything that I thought it would be and more. It really was one of the best times I've had in a very, very long time. Going out to Los Angeles to visit Brandon, doing the things that we did was fantastic. I really loved it out there. The scenery is beautiful with all the mountains. The temperature, the weather is much better than it is here. It's hot, but it's not humid like it is here in Louisiana. It's a dry heat, and during the nighttime it actually gets quite cool, so as long as you survive the heat in the day, in the night it feels amazing. You can go out and do stuff, and I was never too hot to do anything or anything like that. Even when we went to Hollywood Boulevard in the middle of the day, it still wasn't uncomfortably hot for me or anything like that. So the weather was great, the scenery was great. We went out and did a lot of stuff. Like I said, saw the Aquarium of the Pacific and the Queen Mary ocean liner out in Long Beach, which was an amazing day. We went to Hollywood. We walked the Walk of Fame. We saw the famous Chinese theater, the Egyptian theater, the Kodak theater where they have the Oscars every year, which is now called the Dolby Theater. We saw the Hollywood sign. We did all that kind of great stuff. The other couple days we just kind of hung out. Kind of the game of the trip was FIFA, FIFA 13. Brandon and I played that game like every day. So many matches. We were just addicted. We loved playing FIFA against one another. We had so much fun with that. That's mainly what we did when we weren't out doing stuff. When we were home, we were playing FIFA. That's pretty much what we did. So that was fantastic. Saw a movie, saw Pacific Rim, flew back here to New Orleans. We've been here for the past 4 days. We did all kinds of fun stuff here. We went to Baton Rouge. I showed him LSU, where I go to school, my apartment. We went to the Audubon Zoo a couple days ago, ran around, saw all the zoo animals and all that kind of fun stuff. Yesterday we woke up, we actually went and did a swamp tour. We got to take a boat through the swamp and see all kinds of alligators and birds and all the trees and plants, stuff like that. And then last night we actually went down with my dad. We went to the French Quarter. We walked on Bourbon Street. We ate at a really good restaurant down there. We went and got beignets at world famous Cafe Du Monde. And then we came home, and today we just kind of woke up and we had a late flight. It's almost 8 o'clock, and so we had a late flight tonight. But today we just kind of went and we played a lot of FIFA again today. We went out and ate some good lunch, and we just talked about the trip, and I guess kind of the whole day today was kind of just saying goodbye, just reminiscing on the trip and talking about how much fun we had, and it really was fantastic. I want to check my time here because I want to talk for a little bit and I don't want to go too long. But yeah, it really was an amazing trip. Um, just so much fun. Brandon, he's a great guy. I consider us extremely good friends. Um, you know, the only thing that's disappointing, obviously, is that we don't live by each other. Because I know if we did, we would be, you know, absolutely the best of friends, even though we are, you know, really close friends, but we'd be just as close of friends, and we'd be able to go out all the time and do stuff together and have fun in person, do all that kind of amazing stuff, and just have good times. But you know, it is what it is. It's unfortunate we don't live by each other, but hey, that's life, and you know, it's just amazing that we even had this opportunity, you know, to actually do this trip and to go to Los Angeles, to come back here and be with each other for 9 days, just doing all this fun stuff, just hanging out. I mean, it was awesome. And I mean, who would have thought, you know, 2 years ago when this guy, B-Boy9Fresh, I opened up my inbox on YouTube, I have a message from him just, you know, asking me to play some Black Ops. And, you know, I sit down in August of 2011, put my camera on the TV, you know, I have no idea who this guy is. I'm thinking we're just going to play a few matches for the day, and that was going to be it. Never talk to him again. Who would have known that, you know, just a little under 2 years later, we would be meeting in person, going around Hollywood and Los Angeles and Long Beach and going all over New Orleans together as really good friends. I mean, it's crazy how things happen, but I mean, I'm so thankful that I'm doing this YouTube channel, because if I wasn't doing this channel, I never would have made this friend, and I never would have had this experience. So, just me, it just amazes me doing such a simple thing, just sitting down with a camera, recording myself playing games, and uploading that to the internet, led to one of the most memorable trips, you know, I've ever had in my life. I mean, it's just, and led to the formation of an extremely good, close friendship, even though we live so far away. You know, I think this trip, us being in person, really just solidified that as us being more than just internet friends, or more than just, you know, that guy I talked to at night who lives in California on the internet. Now that we've been together in person for 9 days, gone out together and seen all the sights and had this trip, it really cements us as now just really good, close friends. And I'm thankful that we had this chance. I'm thankful to him for being on board with it, for letting me come out there and then wanting to come back with me. You know, he could have just said, well, I don't really feel like, you know, he never flew before. He never flown in his whole life. And he could have easily said, you know, I don't want to fly, so I'm not going to go back with you. I'm just going to have you here for a few days and that's it. For him to, you know, say, yeah, I'll go fly for the first time just to come with you down in New Orleans and visit you. I mean, it meant a lot. It meant a lot to me. And I think all my friends, my girlfriend really got along well with him and like him, and my parents really like him, and it was a great trip. So with that, I want to tell you about the vlogs if you want to experience some of our trip. I believe it's 43 total vlogs that I've taken from the whole trip, and 37 of them are from Los Angeles. So yeah, that means that only 6 of them I filmed while I was in New Orleans. So a couple things, what you have to understand about here is, number one, I live here. So I've seen all this stuff before. So for me, there's not really an inclination to want to film everything that I've already seen. Like, when I was out there, you know, this is all new to me, and I wanted to film everything. I wanted to capture everything I could, you know, 37 vlogs. A lot of it at, like, the aquarium and stuff like that. I wanted to get all that stuff. I've never been. But down here, like, when we go to Baton Rouge and walk around LSU, what's there for me to really film? You know what I mean? It's my school. I've been there for 3 years. You know, even when we went to the zoo. Now, I will say this. I didn't film much at the zoo. I didn't film any at the zoo, actually. But I took a lot of still pictures. I took a lot of pictures. So what I'm planning on doing is I will show those to you some way. I will either do a special montage video, like I was planning on doing, putting all those pictures. And I took more still pictures, not just from the zoo, but in California and here of different things. What I'll probably do is incorporate a lot of those pictures into the upcoming Voodoos Brew, which I'm about to talk about. And then you can see them that way. Or I may do both. So some kind of way you'll see the still pictures. So even though I didn't video anything at the zoo, I did take a lot of pictures of the animals and stuff like that. It was actually really hot that day and really humid. I found it uncomfortably hot and humid, even for me, who lives down here. So I wasn't too inclined to take videos, you know, because it was hot and whatever. And there were so many. It's so much bigger than the aquarium. You know, there's so many more animals and stuff. I would have had like a million vlogs, so I didn't do that. The 6 videos that I did take were yesterday when we went on the swamp tour. I took like 4 or 5 videos of the swamp tour, and then I took a video of us on Bourbon Street walking around in New Orleans. So those are the vlogs I have from here. So not much, only 6. But again, what you got to understand is the first part of the trip was very different from the second. I mean, the first part out in LA and California, it's all about the sights. You know, the world-famous sites, Hollywood Boulevard, the Queen Mary, all that kind of stuff. And the aquarium, which I had never been to out there, obviously, and seen a lot of animals that I'd never seen because they don't have them at my aquarium, like the chambered nautilus and all that other kind of cool stuff. So out there, it's much more akin to filming because, again, for me, I've never been there, and there's a lot more just sights to see out there to get on video. Down here, it's not so much about world-famous sites. There's not a lot of world-famous sites in New Orleans. You know, yeah, there's the Superdome and Bourbon Street and that, but there's not like Hollywood Boulevard or the Queen Mary. There's nothing quite like that down here. Down here, it's more about just the experience, the culture, the food. You know, we fed Brandon and we went to eat at restaurants that were all very classic New Orleans. He got a lot of New Orleans food that he had never tried before, like po' boys, crawfish, oysters, beignets, all that gumbo, all that kind of good stuff, you know, that he'd never tried before. He came down here and ate all that food. You know, just the culture, walking down, seeing the architecture, hearing the music, the jazz music, that kind of thing. So it doesn't really lend itself so much to filming down here because it's not something you can really capture on camera. You know, eating the food and just experiencing the culture is not something you can really capture on camera, you know what I mean? So the things that we did do that were sightseeing worthy, like the swamp tour, which is something I don't normally do. I haven't been on a swamp tour in a long time. Bourbon Street, which is, you know, kind of a scenic thing. I don't go on Bourbon Street either. I've been there, but I haven't been there in a long time because there's no reason for me to go. That kind of stuff I did take videos of, but most of the other stuff, like LSU and all that kind of stuff, there was no point for me to video. So I do still need to upload those 6 vlogs as we speak. I will actually be uploading those vlog videos before this video. So by the time you're seeing this video, the vlogs of New Orleans will be up and the trip playlist will be complete. All 43 some odd parts, I think it's 43 parts, will be up. So you can watch all the vlogs that we took. And again, at some point in the future, I will find a way to get all the still pictures up on YouTube in some format so that you can see the still pictures that I took in addition to the videos. Alright, so now it's time to talk about post-trip, what I'm going to be doing upcoming. It's kind of crazy to me because I planned everything like July 9th through the 19th was like it. It was the trip, and I'll push everything off till after the trip. The trip was the focus, and now I'm realizing like there's actually a post-trip. Like there's actually stuff now that I have to do after the trip. I have to get back to my normal life with, you know, not this amazing thing to look forward to. It's just life, which is, you know, it is what it is. But as far as what that means for the channel, okay, gameplay will return. The Last of Us, it's been out for a long time, over a month now. Obviously, still haven't beaten it, have quite a ways to go in the game. The Last of Us is returning. It's returning to the channel. Hopefully in the coming week. This is a Thursday, but it will serve as a weekly ritual for next week as well. You know, the next about week and a half. There won't be another one till, you know, not this Sunday or Monday, but the following. So hopefully in this upcoming week and a half, you know, The Last of Us will be returning. That's my plan. To get back to it, to hit it, start doing more gameplay, and beat that game, because the next game that's coming out that I want to play is Splinter Cell Blacklist, and that comes out in August, which is surprisingly to me not that far away. And so I need to get through The Last of Us and review it by then. So even though it's not getting good views on YouTube, I don't care. I still want to beat the game. So that will be returning as far as gameplay. And the other thing that I want to make a mention of is the next Voodoos Brew. Now, originally I had said that we would be doing 3 Voodoos Brews in 2 weeks. We'd be doing the Voodoos Brew before the trip, which we did. Then we'd be doing one from California before we came back here, and one the night before Brandon left, which would have been last night. Those 2 would have been in person. Well, we didn't wind up doing that. We did the Voodoos Brew before, but we haven't done any since then. And the reason being is because, number one, Voodoos Brew's views are suffering majorly. And we didn't want to put out, we just put out a Voodoos Brew. It's been up for like 2 weeks. It's gotten no views. So we didn't want to put, 2 more Voodoos Brews out in just a week's time. They would have gotten no views at all. And another reason was we just didn't feel like it. We were on vacation. We were doing stuff. When we come home, we'd be tired. We didn't want to worry about doing Voodoos Brew and any of that stuff. We just didn't feel like doing it. So those were the 2 reasons. So what we agreed to do was we're just going to do one big Voodoos Brew now, recapping the whole trip, talking about every single day of the trip, what we did, all that kind of stuff. And I'll be most likely posting pictures, of the trip and stuff on Voodoos Brew. That will be the editing on that episode will be all the still pictures I've got from the trip. So we're doing that. That's coming in the next week. I don't know what day yet. It will probably be sooner rather than later, so it'll probably be some point this weekend. Maybe sooner. I don't know. Maybe as soon as tomorrow. It might be as soon as Friday. But we're going to do that. That one's not going to be live streamed either. We're going to worry about live streaming a little bit later on. We're not too concerned with that right now, especially because the views are doing as poorly as they are right now. There's really no point for us to live stream. We can't even get views on the YouTube video. We don't think anyone's going to show up for the stream, and no one's expressed any interest in the streams, so there's no reason to do it. So it will just be the normal episode recorded and put on YouTube in its normal format. So that's coming. That's going to be a big Voodoos Brew. I believe that's episode 15, if I'm not mistaken. And that will be coming up probably within the next couple of days. So keep an eye out for that, where we recap the whole trip. Should be a fantastic episode, and I'm really looking forward to it. So, yeah, guys, that's it. That's the ritual for this week. The trip is over. Unfortunately, it's very sad, disappointing, because I do miss Brandon already, because we've been together for 9 days and had tons of fun, like we've been friends forever. And, I mean, we have been friends for 2 years, so it's been a while, but it was almost like we've been best friends forever, how well we got along, the fun we had. It was great. So I am feeling a little sad, a little lonely. I miss him, but, I know we'll get back soon to our normal ways of what we did before the trip, talking on Skype all the time, playing Black Ops 2, and it'll be fine. So we're already talking about another trip. We obviously want to meet up again. We don't know when, maybe as early as next year. We don't know. I'd love to do it again next year. Problem is the money, because plane tickets are so expensive, and, vacations in general just cost a lot of money, so that's really what's in our way. We feel like we'll have time, but, will we have the money? I don't know. So, that's something we'll be discussing all the way until next year, and I hope that it'll work out to where as early as next year we can do another trip and go do, I'd really love to go back out to California and do all kinds of stuff that we haven't done yet, like, maybe go to San Diego or do the Universal Studios tour of the movie, the actual movie studios and all that kind of stuff. So we're already talking about meeting up and doing another trip, like I said, hopefully maybe just next year. So I'm very confident it'll happen again. There will be another trip. We will get back together again and have a lot of fun. So, all right, guys, that's it. What you can expect again: the final 6 vlogs of the trip from New Orleans, and then, well, that'll already be up by the time you see this video. And then coming up this next week will be Voodoos Brew recapping the whole trip with Brandon and I, and then the return of The Last of Us. So, until then. Peace out. Hope you guys enjoyed. And, yep, that's about it. So see you later.